Hello guys, I'm Lighty, and this is my video on low-level heist farming infinitely. So I'm currently level 49, and I have not killed Brutus. And you may be thinking, Lighty, I know you have the mental fortitude of a swamp toad, but have you finally lost it? Well, partially. I found out some interesting breakpoints when it comes to things you could do in the Rogue Harbor from the vendor that kind of have a weird connection with certain heist spawn rates for chests. Now what I mean by this is, starting at level 10, your vendor, which is Wakano the Barber, can start to sell you contracts that will give you uniques. Now these are known as engineering contracts. Each different type of contract corresponds to a different chest in its core. However, there are different points, different level points, where certain chests start to spawn, and certain chests start to get one chest versus two chests versus 2 to 3 chests. And I've spent a couple days now identifying some of these points. Now before I start this off, I want to preface this by saying they recently put a patch out, which is patch 3.12.2. There's been like 5 patches since Heist launched 5 days ago, because this league is literally made of spaghetti carbonara. Patch essentially made it so Blight, Metamorph, Delirium from Demolition, Agility giving Harbinger, and Trap Disarmament giving Breach and Legion can no longer be accessed prior to level 68. Meaning before maps, you can't actually purchase these missions, or you can purchase the missions, you just won't get those things to spawn, which makes them kind of fucking worthless. Now one of the key components to this whole strategy was that at level 50, you could run your demolition skills, your demolition contracts, and get low-level large cluster jewels. Now level 50 is a good point because a lot of builds can use 2 to 3 notables at level 50 that are not too difficult to roll. An example of this is for my actual self. The Golemancer I'm playing can roll Renewal and a Rotten Claws at level 50, and it's only about 1 in 80 just to chance that. That's been taken away, along with any sort of Metamorph, any sort of Blight, any sort of Harbinger, Breach, or Legion shenanigans. So all those things can only spawn chests in 68 plus or map tiers. Now once you're above level 67, Wakano will only sell you contracts that are still capped at 67, meaning our pool is now more limited to the before. However, there's still some great things you can get, and the only thing that I'm really worth targeting for at the moment, in my opinion, is Perception for divination cards, along with some random prophecies, and engineering for uniques. Now, like I said earlier, starting level 10, you can start to get 1 engineering chest to spawn, and when I hit level 29, that's the first time I saw 2 chests to spawn. So I'm not sure if I just got lucky or maybe there's a breakpoint earlier, but level 29, starting level 34 is the first time I've ever seen 2 uniques drop off of 1 chest. Again, these numbers aren't locked in totally. I've just, from my testing, this is what I found. Level 36 is the first time I got Deception for armor, and 44 the first time I saw Thaumaturgy, which is for jewelry and gems. Now, because of how Heist works, you can essentially start level 10 with your first character doing heists, purchase contracts for engineering, lockpicking, even brute force, and every time you get a level, the vendor resets. It takes about 2 to 3 contracts at low level, even up to level like roughly 40, for you to level within. So every 2 to 3 contracts you'll level, which of course resets the barber, the vendor, which means you can purchase 2 to 3 more contracts, and you can go infinite. The only downside is rogues markers, but because of how the system works, if you loot the final chest in a heist, and you make it out, selling that item gives you more rogues markers than you spend, meaning, again, you go infinite. Now, if you were to die, because we haven't killed Kitava yet in Act 5, there's no penalty for death. And if you die before you hit the final alarm and set it off, you could come back in the portal. Meaning not only could you go infinite with markers because you're vendoring the end product, you can go infinite with levels because you have enough contracts per level to keep resetting your level. There's no downside for death, and there's no res penalty. So basically you could just sit here until really whenever you wanted to. You can probably go to 70, 80 and just live life off of contracts. Now, I don't really know what the sweet spot is, but one of the big draws is for sure engineering. I guess if you were to do this prior to level 35, you would never get Perception, Thaumaturgy, and Deception to spawn, which probably would decrease the pool and increase the amount of engineering to spawn, possibly increasing your overall uniques per hour. And I have been seeing unique jewels, which is something I'm hunting specifically for my golem build, but are great in general. You could reset your level by using a Scroll of Wisdom plus a Scouter Orb. This makes a Book of Regression, and this drops your level. Another interesting point is while setting up your Twink character, your character used to farm low-level heists, you could actually get to level Act 3 and do your normal lab. You could do your cruel lab at 50, you could do your merciless lab at 60, and your uber lab at 60, if your build can handle it, getting all of your labyrinth ascendancies unlocked, de-level your character back down to 49, and you'll retain your ascendancy. This means you could have a level 49 character, but still have Uber Lab ascendancies, and still have no death penalty, no resistance penalty, because you've technically not progressed past Act 5. So the next question becomes, we've identified that you can go infinite farming engineering contracts for uniques at the very least, or perception if you're in Trade League, or lockpicking for Trade League, especially for currency, at low levels pretty frequently. So then the question really is, what's the best build in the game at level 49? Well, if you're in Trade League, I think it's probably Hollow Palm. You can equip a lot of insane things like double hoops of all and stat belts. You can put Astramentus on. So Hollow Palm's kind of insane. Currently I'm playing Blazing Salvo Miner and I'm pretty fucking disappointed. So I'm probably gonna have to level up something else. What came to mind for me in Solo Self-One was something along the lines of either Burning Discharge or a Max Block Gladiator. At the very least, I'll have Merciless Lab on a level 49 character, which is pretty gross. Some of the big finds I've found while doing this is multiple tabbies on the way, Call of the Brotherhood, and Skull's Bridles. I found 2 of those. Interesting to note, if you actually get the proc for League exclusive uniques, it can happen from any of the unique large chests, and they bypass all item level drops. So Skull's Bridle is a higher level unique than the zone I was in at the time I got it. I got one at 45 and one at 47. Both times the Skull's Bridle, as we know, is equipped level a lot higher than that. Because of this, it's entirely possible to not only get things like Yilfman's Trickery, something I'm hunting personally as a Tempest exclusive, but you could technically get Headhunter, and I've seen Edge of Madness, I've seen the Gull, I've seen a lot of League exclusives, so I'm not sure of how much you can get, but you probably get a couple per day. Now this method really is essentially clever use of game mechanics pushed to the edge, and I'm not sure of its viability as far as actual currency generation in Trade League, but for Solo Self-On, it for sure doesn't hurt to just do this on the side. At the very least, you're basically rolling a Jack in the Box every minute or so. Not to mention the secondary currency you get along with additional 5 links and 6 links. I've gotten a multitude of trash 5 links, ranging from Zendathu's Cassock to Cloak of Flames to, you know, what the fuck else I've gotten? Cane of Unraveling. I had a Tremor Rod drop a 5 link, but the heist crashed, so it rolled back, unfortunately. Either way, this is the essential setup I'm doing. I'm going to try to do a second part to this video, and I'm going to spend some time setting up my character for it, gearing him up, and seeing how hard I could push a level 49 Twink that is essentially going to have not only regular lab, but Cruel Lab, Merciless, and eventually Uber Lab, then regressed his level down to 49. Basically the best level 49 gear I could have. There might be better breakpoints at level 49. That I don't know. For now, I'm going to sit at 49, and as like I said, you can always bring your character higher or bring your character lower. It's up to you. Let me know if you guys have any findings from testing this yourselves. I know some of you have been doing something similar, and there's a good chance, like they hot-fixed the current situation in the recent patch to remove Blight, Metamorph, Delirium, Harbinger, Breach, and Legion, that they might fuck with this method in the future. If they do, that's kind of a bummer. Either way, I'm Matt Lighty. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the concept. I'll let you know my findings in part 2, and if there's any information I want to add in the next part, we'll do so. Hope you guys have a good day, and good luck in Heist out there. Adia, Wakano, Faustus, Ankar, Isla, Nanette, Ryan, Tliana, Tibbs, Hawk, Niles, and Gianna, Binderi. That's where I wanna go. Grand Heist and take it slow. Gonna DC that I know. Down to Kokobo.